Hi, this is parent coach Janet Bonnin of Fine Tuned Families, welcoming you to another great conversation for busy parents. We created Wise Parents, Wise Kids as a way to help you parent smarter. Fine Tuned Families is on the web at www.finetunedfamilies.com. When you visit the website, you can connect with us via LinkedIn, Twitter, and our Facebook community. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Wise Parents, Wise Kids. This is parent coach Janet Bonnin, and today we have a wonderful conversation with my friend and associate, Angela Woodrow. We're going to talk about discovering the gifts of connecting with our extended family members and discovering the gifts of allowing them to share wisdom, insight, love, and encouragement with ourselves and with our children. In this situation, I want to just go ahead and give us a quick couple of definitions for clarity purpose. For the sake of today's conversation, we're going to talk about core family being mom, dad, and children, so the immediate family. And we're going to talk about extended family being everyone else, like grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. All right, Angie, welcome to the call. Why don't you share a little bit about who you are with our listeners?
Hi, Janet. Thanks for having me on the call today. I'm very excited to talk about family. Anyone that knows me for 5 seconds knows that I am abundantly blessed. I have multi-generation family. I have parents and aunts and uncles and cousins and siblings, children and in-laws and grandchildren, which I'm very proud about.
Wonderful.
I balance and live my life very intentionally so that I can celebrate and participate in all seasons of family life while I run my business, the Coaching Continuum. I am a project navigator. I specialize in organizational development of the individual and of organizations. I help you grow and achieve your dreams, your goals, your to-do list. Micro and macro.
And in our situation, Angie and I have been working together side by side for 3 years, almost 4 years. And what a pleasure and what an honor. Yes, on this project. So thank you for all of that.
So
let's dive in. And the first question I want to ask you about, because we were discussing this a little bit before we started recording, what do you think about, Angie, when you say the word family heritage?
Well, I have part of my work is to help people discover distinctions. So I'm always reading and expanding and broadening my knowledge, my awareness, and my understanding. So recently, I heard the description of heritage and legacy, and I thought, yes. So heritage is what you are given. So heritage could be your trait, brown hair, blue-eyed, fair skin, freckled, I believe it's in my DNA. I inherited a need for chocolate. It's medicinal, right? So heritage is what you are given. So in my family heritage, I was blessed and given. Didn't sign up for it, didn't ask for it. I was abundantly blessed with 2 sets of grandparents that were married their whole lives and just really resonated and connected and participated in the family. I have my parents, and I'm happily married to the love of my life and my soulmate, my best friend, Andy Woodrow, and his parents, again, creating a legacy because the heritage is what you're given. So I have many generations of happily married people, in that not every day was a bed of roses and champagne and, chocolate. Happily married in the vocation of marriage, called to it, worked on it, focused on it, paid attention to it, demonstrated it to their families. So that's what I inherited. My family legacy that I do for myself and my husband, my children, and my grandchildren is live out that heritage to the best of my ability. I increase the strength and fiber of the heritage by putting my imprint on the heritage. Thus, the heritage becomes the living legacy. So it's how I participate and engage in my family, my core family, and my extended family.
Beautiful. So heritage, too, can be traditions that we had growing up, traditions of getting together regularly as an extended family, sharing a meal, doing something special. One of my husband's brother-in-laws comes from a large family, and one of their traditions has always been that the entire family, mom, dad, and kids, love to play tennis. And they love to play tennis to the point that they will get together. They're now all grown and spread out across the United States. They will get together on a regular basis and play tennis. So that's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so then legacy is us as parents today building with each other and with our children what will become for them their heritage, right?
Exactly.
As they grow up, that becomes their heritage.
So that family that you just mentioned, the children's heritage is the love of playing tennis. The legacy is that they continue to honor the heritage, and even as adult children, they get together and play tennis. And probably the next generation will be doing the same. There is. And there's families that have amazing ski holidays, and there's families that, the world revolves around the fishing weekend, or the clam bake, or the crawfish boil, or so every family has that. And I would also acknowledge that there's lots of families out there that also have a heritage, the struggles. You can't always talk about just the blessings. You have to also talk about the challenges. And when you intentionally acknowledge, okay, boundaries have been eroded, or boundaries have been broken, or I would like to change the heritage of this particular thing. I want this pattern that is not pleasing to and not helpful and not healthy to stop. So you also have a responsibility and a participation to maintain, but also change things that need to be changed. You don't change for the sake of change. You change for the health and the wealth and the goodness of the whole family institute. And so
in the situation where there is some negativity, negative issues with our heritage, how do you suggest that parents, first of all, become aware of it and then decide what they might do to address some of this?
Well, I recently read something by an author, Brené Brown. She's an astounding researcher and psychologist and PhD, social worker. And her distinctions are this. Guilt is about behavior. Shame is about how you feel as a person. And the only way that you can change
Can you repeat that again? Guilt is about behavior.
Right. And shame is about how you feel as a person. So guilt is actually a good thing because you can change behavior. Shame is a negative thing because it's all those gremlins and all those misperceptions and misunderstandings that are in your head. And she says, Brene Brown says, the only way that you can change that is to talk about it. And everyone has shame. And our biggest problem is that we don't talk about it. Because when you don't talk about it, it stays in the dark. It stays a secret. And the secret becomes bigger and uglier and darker.
And so that's a good opportunity to focus on building better communication.
Absolutely. Those are the things. You want to take the strength and the beauty in your heritage and highlight it and let that light shine and not be ashamed to acknowledge not everything about our family heritage is rosy. And so we would like to contribute to a stronger faith heritage by living out a legacy that has intention and belief. And Janet, you've always talked about wanting that to be able to help parents write that parent pledge, that commitment to their kids, that they focus on these things. And we all know that resilient people are intentional people. Resilient people aren't happy 24/7. But in the struggle, they intentionally focus on where they want to be so that they can be happy again or be joyful again. Happiness is fleeting. Joy is what is your spirit. So you are able to sustain joy. Not all the time are you happy.
Yes.
So
and that's an important distinction. Very important.
Right. We keep throwing out all these distinctions that just kind of really are building blocks to help us understand the heritage. So when I said I come from a heritage and a family where I've been blessed and given abundance of grandparents, and I saw those grandparents and their children and in-laws interact in such a positive way. And when there was disagreement and when there was conflict or challenge, I saw them sit down and discuss it. Literally, sit around the table.
Instead of hiding it. Yeah, right. Instead of avoiding it, right?
Right. So I knew that was something that I wanted to be able to perpetuate for my children. I wanted them to feel like the dining room table was a central place. Now, we're a military family, so that was exceptionally challenging because, their grandparents didn't live down the street. So we, before Skype and before Internet and before email, yes, Janet, you and I know that there was a time before that.
Yes, there was.
Write letters and, have the kids write letters to their grandparents so that when we were together in the summer or over those times when we were traveling through and were able to connect with family, they knew who these people were and they weren't strange. And they knew that their father, my dad, was going to say, all right, tell me about the world and how you're going to fix it, And my dad loved
what
to
a
have
wonderful question.
And what great questions from kids that lived on other continents, And my dad was always so concerned. I love this about him. It's like, don't stay outside the United States too long. You got to remember they're Americans. And I'm like, Dad, we're serving in the military. We got that one covered. But he was just so passionate, and he had absolutely no problem letting everyone know in every generation, his children, his children's children, and anyone that was connected to them by marriage, by blood, by friends. We have our extended family is lovingly called the family because you're friends, but you're more than just friends. You're family. We had family before Sprint had family. So.
And too, you were mentioning the term resilient earlier, helping our kids to be more resilient, helping ourselves to be more resilient. When we feel that we have an extended network of family and friends who are there for us, regardless of what challenges we might be facing, or who are there just to celebrate our successes. How much more rich and blessed are we? But also, how much more resilient. That's a key to resiliency, is feeling really connected with a lot of people.
And my children, adult children, we experienced a death in the family recently. And so they were able to come with their children, which was amazing, to a funeral. And they crossed the intersection of a whole lot of relatives that they knew about because they've heard me talk about them. But to see them in person, the last time they saw them was at their great-grandmother's 100th birthday. So it's been a while. But they knew, maybe they didn't know these people, like, oh, I saw you yesterday, so I know what to talk about. But they knew this was a special occasion and had the opportunity to connect and make connections. And just being able to share in that time. Was every moment rosy during that time? No, please. It was a very emotional time. But they saw the adults respectfully navigating situations, and sometimes there's one branch of the family that has lots of disagreement between the siblings, but those siblings set those disagreements aside and came to the event and participated. And we were grateful as a family that they did that, because it was more important for us to come together at that time and share that. And day to day, that's really how young couples learn how to navigate that in-law. When you're young and you're married, sometimes your in-laws, be you the husband or the wife, just really confound you and make you want to just pull your hair out. and I can remember that as being a young bride, just being so fearful of disappointing or upsetting my mother-in-law. And over time, my aunts and my grandmother and my mom would, counsel me and talk to me. And I had one, my grandmother was very clear. You don't gossip about your relatives. If you have something to say, you go to them. So that was kind of a family code and a family rule. And, when I was kind of young and fussing and teary, and she would just say, if you have an issue, you need to go talk to that person. If you want to talk to me and pray with me about how to talk to that person, okay. But I can't help you fix that problem you have with that person, because it's the problem you have with that person. My grandmother had excellent boundaries. So
beautiful.
She gave me, that was my heritage, and I accepted it, and I try and live out that legacy. So it's
we've got just a short little while left. What else would you like to share about this, about the gift of connecting with our extended family and friends? What other tips?
Well, I would say the other tip, or the other thing that I've learned now that I'm the mother-in-law and I go and want to engage and interact with my grandchildren, is to honor that definition that you put out there at the very beginning of our conversation. The core family is the mom and the dads and the kids. Then there's the extended family. So when I want to do something or make a comment about a grandchild or something like that, I make sure I honor that core family. I ask my daughters and son-in-laws, can I have a conversation? Can I, and now we have Skype and FaceTime and texting, so it's all very fluid. So, but we have a code word in the family. We need a Sunday table dinner conversation, because I explained to them. I told them the story of my heritage, where as a child, when the family wanted to discuss things after Sunday, now it was easy for my family because we all lived on the same street. My mom and her brother lived 3 doors from each other, and my grandmother lived around the corner. So it was very easy to assemble people without driving across the country or something like that. But still, you can do that. You can say, we need a time to sit down and talk about things. So I honor my daughter's and my son-in-law's core family boundaries. I ask for permission to engage and participate, and I know that I am their consultant. You had a wonderful conversation with Linda Herman a couple of weeks ago around the fact that parents are in different stages. First the choreographer, then the coach, then the consultant. I'm very much the consultant for my adult children, and I get to be the man. There's no other for the grandchildren, but I check
the grandmother,
with their parents, right?
Yes, and that's such a beautiful gift to honor the boundaries. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And boundaries shift and change as people move through life. And folks, there is a Wise Parents, Wise Kids interview with Linda Herman on the choreographer, coach, consultant, parenting stages. It was a wonderful interview. So after listening to this call, you might want to look that up and listen to that also. So Angie, thank you so much for being with us. Is there one or two final thoughts that you have as we wrap up?
I just wish for all parents that they get a chance to find out and discuss with others in their family faith heritage that they inherited and their family heritage, that tradition. And for those parents to plan out with their husband or wife just the intention, talk about it, and for goodness sakes, write it down. Because when you write it down, it actually can come to fruition. So you journal it, you write it down on a piece of paper, you paint your family mission across the door jamb to your home. Celebrate it, because it all takes work. And when you invest in yourself and intentionally focus on that, nothing but good can come from it. So enjoy your heritage, enjoy your legacy.
And work together to envision that legacy and build that legacy as you're speaking about. Thank you so very much for being my guest today on the Wise Parents, Wise Kids interview and conversation. I hope that those who are listening have found some nuggets of wisdom in all of this. If you'd like to know more about the conversation, email me and I will send you the notes and resources. I imagine, Angie, you've got some resources to share, but we're out of time. If you would, just send those resources to me, and I will share that with the listeners when they email me. Janet@finetunedfamilies.com. Thank you again, Angie.
Thanks.
Bye. Bye. That wraps up another great conversation for busy parents. This is parent coach Janet Bonnin thanking you for joining us today on Wise Parents, Wise Kids, an interview series with experts who help you parent smarter. Learn more about fine-tuned families by visiting us on the web and connecting with us through LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. If you want more information on today's conversation, go to www.finetunedfamilies.com, click the Get Help Now tab, and enter the name of today's topic. I'll be happy to send you the link to this recording, PowerPoint notes on the call, and links to the resources we discussed on the call.